Hello guys, Survivor here, and welcome back to another review. And it's probably dark as shit. That's better. So, welcome back to another review. Now, judging from the title, you're probably like, dude, you're reviewing the sequel to Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Well, yeah, because I loved The Force Unleashed, at least the original versions. You know, I'm talking about the PS2 versions and the Wii versions. Back in back in those days, man, it was damn good shit. Then I saw the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions, and I still have no fucking idea why the developers decided to change the entire game. It's to something different for the next gen consoles. Like, I'm pretty sure it could have handled the freaking stuff from the original version. I still have no fucking idea why, but hell, there is still some of that in this, because I do got the Wii version of Force Unleashed 2, and it's a completely different game. At least the look of it. Like the story's the same. You're experiencing different things, so it's a bit longer. But other than that, it's just there. And like the cutscenes are still the same, except for different lighting and different angles and looks and stuff. It's just completely different when you compare the Wii version to the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 versions. It really just is like, what the fuck? But but Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, I did originally play on a on the PS3 at my aunt's house. At one of my aunt's house. She had it, and when I first got it, when I was first playing it, I was so excited because I wanted to play the sequel so bad. I think when I actually found out there was a sequel was when I found a book of The Force Unleashed 2 at Target. It was just lying there in like the book areas. I was like, oh shit, that's cool. You know, I don't actually own the book, but I do plan on in the future to see like what the actual canon ending is, because there's two different endings. So, what is Force Unleashed 2? Basically, it takes place sometime after the events of Force Unleashed 1. The canon ending to Force Unleashed 1 is obviously the light side, where you fight the Emperor, and Starkiller ultimately sacrifices himself to have the rebels all escape. The dark side ending to that game, though, is the complete opposite. Starkiller somehow survives, and everybody is just dead, and that basically leads up to all the DLC pack what ifs in the DLC stuff in the game, like the Hoth one and the Tatooine one. But I do gotta say that Force Unleashed 2, if I were to, this is the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions, is it better than in the first Force Unleashed on those same consoles? Hell yeah. It definitely improves on the graphics, and definitely improves on the gameplay, because like, again, it's still the same linear gameplay, but it still adds in some of the original versions of the Force Unleashed. It gives me that feel, like, because the holocrons, yes, they're still exposed, like in the 360 and PS3 versions, but it's it's like they're still hiding out somewhere. Like, it has those Force Unleashed original versions feel when you like destroy shit, and the holocrons are actually there. and they actually brought those back. Like, you know, like there are holocrons where you can. There's actually four types of holocrons in this game. There's the experience point holocrons. There's the red holocrons where you can pick one up. It gives you another saber crystal. My favorite one that I picked up was the one where you could get the black saber crystal from the Clone Wars. That was fucking cool. Um, um, I also, and there's the green holocrons where it basically increases your maximum health, which will definitely come into play if you're having a hard time with the game, but especially if you're doing it on the harder difficulties. And there is the blue holocrons, which basically increases the maximum of your force power, of your force energy gauge. And what I do like about in Force Unleashed 2 that it definitely improves on some of the combat. It's still the same, yeah, but you're starter killer and you got two lightsabers now. So definitely, yeah. It's still kind of repetitive with the gameplay, but what I really do like how what they added in was you can actually add in your force powers with your lightsaber attacks, where you can actually combine your force lightning with your attacks, which looks fucking awesome. But you're probably going to be using that a lot if you're having trouble a bit. You also use your force push ability with it, which is cool. But there's only like a few animations I only got out of it, and that was it. Like I was like, damn, they could have done this a bit more. The leveling system of your force powers are definitely better in this game, especially the system because again, like in the 360 PS3 version of Force Unleashed 1, it was just straight up bland. It really was. It kind of is here, but it gives it that a really cool. It's just kind of cool to me, to be honest. Again, I think I do love the Force Unleashed 1. I do think the Force Unleashed 1. Shit. I do think that the Force Unleashed 2. Back when I first played that, I think I still love it as much as I do now. Even though I just noticed some problems with it. Like again, the game can be repetitive. It's a hack and slash. It's a hack and slash, so it's gotta be repetitive. It's always gotta be. But the story to Force Unleashed 2, you're probably wondering what is the story for Force Unleashed 2. Again, it takes place after some time after the events of Force Unleashed 1. It's taking the role of Star Killer again, which it's been kind of shown that Star Killer's clone of the original Star Killer that was the Force Unleashed 1. Then this Star Killer starts getting memories of the past events, like they start getting some flashbacks to like events of the game. You do not see really a lot of these flashbacks. Like you do start seeing them in the beginning of the game, and actually a few regarding your force powers in the second level, but you don't really get to see the rest, where the psychological parts of Star Killer until like the very end, where you start getting a lot more of the flashbacks, and there's actually a glimpse of the future that was kind of hinted in the final battle, but. But I do gotta say, guys, it is a kick-ass game, especially in my personal opinion. Like, yeah, okay, well, Star Killer breaks out of the Camino cloning facility, steals Vader's starship, and goes out to find everybody he remembers, or at least he remembers from a dead man. So you really don't know if Starkiller really is a clone, or really the real Starkiller just revived. What if Vader just brought him back to life because all the clones, because he does build clones that have force powers and lightsabers around the end of the game, but he does have clones that are trying to replace Starkiller. What if Starkiller was brought back to life? You know, what if he was brought back to life because Vader knew that the clones wouldn't be exactly like him, and he's trying to manipulate him. Again, I really do love that. I really do love the kind of mystery. Like, do you think this guy really is Starkiller, or is he like did Vader somehow bring him back to life? Because I'm pretty sure there have been times where characters have been revived in Star Wars, like where they thought they were dead. They could be someone revived. I know something like that happened in the Star Wars verse. I know something like that happened. It just had to be. That somebody was brought back to life somehow. But all that aside, Star Wars Force Unleashed 2 story doesn't really add up to like the story to Force Unleashed 1. In Force Unleashed 1, you do got like a lot more characterization of Starkiller and his journey and everything, and his character development. In Force Unleashed 2, he's like a completely different person. Like it's like the entire game he wants to find Juno Eclipse. You know, the pilot, the one he kissed at the very end of the game. Again, I kind of find that a bit of a problem though, because it's like he would do anything. Like again, Starkiller loves Juno. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I think one of the biggest problems throughout the game is that throughout the game, he's so constantly worried about her. It's like it's like he would rather save her than help the rebellion, and he knows this for a damn fact. And like for some reason, like I know it's in Starkiller's character, but I don't know why. It's just like in Force Unleashed 2, he's still the same Starkiller that we remember from Force Unleashed 1, but he's kind of different in Force Unleashed 2, which kind of goes back to my theory on whether this is the real Starkiller or not. It really does add up to the mystery of Starkiller, like whether this is really a clone that was actually the first success, or is this really a revived Starkiller? You never really know. You're kind of you gotta look out through the entire game. I heard that especially in the books they do explain it a lot more, kind of leave it more as a mystery. But Starkiller, it just you see throughout the game that he does believe he's a clone, and throughout his attitude, he's not really the same. So is he really a clone, or is he really just the same Starkiller that's just experiencing new things, becoming a different person? You never really know. That's what I really like about the mystery to that. But what can I really say about the story? It's not as good as the first game. Hell, this game is not even as long as the original Force Unleashed. I'm talking about the original versions. It's not as long as that. It doesn't really matter though. Nah, not really on how long it is. But I do gotta say there really isn't a middle. Like even if there is, it's like there's a tiny bit of the middle of a story, because I don't know, like, I don't know. The story was way too short. I feel like the story was a bit too short, because it's like everything was happening a lot in stuff. Like, it just felt like it was going pretty fast. The pacing was. It's like it kind of feels like this is like the final arc to the Star Killer story. It's like this is like the true final story for Star Killer. The final, just everything for Star Killer. Star Killer. It's like the longest epilogue I've ever seen in a video game. That's what the whole game kind of is, really. It's like a big ass epilogue for Star Killer's story. Cause that's what it really feels like, because of how short it is compared to the Force Unleashed one. I'm talking about the original versions. So again, I prefer the original versions more than the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions, because they don't really add up. But again, it really, really, really feels like it. But I gotta talk about some of the boss fights. There are boss fights in the game. There's one where you have with a friggin' gunship. I know it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Then there's the Gorog, which I gotta admit the design is fucking awesome. Uh, there's the Terror Walker, like I fucking love that. It's really unique, all well designed. And then the final boss of the entire game is obviously Darth Vader. I gotta admit, Darth Vader, the final fight between him and Star Killer at the end is possibly one of the best video game fights I've ever seen. Now, you can say yes, there are quick time events in the game. I didn't really mind the quick time events. The quick time events for me weren't really all that big of a deal, and I feel like it really doesn't. I don't know, like I just didn't really feel like a big of a deal. They've been here since Force Unleashed 1. I just feel like they really do work, because whenever you press that button, it just leads to something that Star Killer just does that's just somewhat epic. And just leads to like a bit more interesting part of the fight when you're like finishing it off. I mean, Force Unleashed 1 did that, so did it here in Force Unleashed 2. Not as epic until like the final fight with Vader, but still really kick-ass quick time events. But again, the final fight with Vader, man, like it's just really badass on what Star Killer does at like the final part of the fight. It was fucking badass, but and smart too. Like again, I feel like the final battle, Star Killer against Vader in the game, is definitely one of the best parts of the entire game. Now, I still love Force Unleashed 2. I don't really have any problems with it, really. I just feel like the story was a bit eh. And I didn't really outright say that is Star Killer really a clone or not. You really gotta look through the game and kind of see for yourself while looking back on the original Force Unleashed. It kind of, again, it's kind of an open-ended ending for Star Killer's character in this game. So I kind of like how they did that. Again, I fucking love this game, but I do gotta admit some of the flaws. Again, the story just doesn't really feel. It's not as good. It's not as good as the first one. The gameplay can be repetitive. Like there are times I was just like literally like my Xbox One controller. I was just like, seriously, like that's exactly like again, hack and slash games are repetitive, no matter how much they improve. They always been repetitive throughout the years. Um, but again, I don't think I have any other problems with it. Like again, it's a kick-ass game. I do enjoy it. I really like the story to it. It's not as good as the first game story, but I do really like the mystery and everything to it. It kind of leaves you open-ended, really, which I really do enjoy. I really, I just feel like I love it as much as I did with Forza when I first played it back on a PlayStation 3 back those years ago. Again, what is my final verdict for Forza Unleashed 2? I'm going to give Forza Unleashed 2, despite its repetitiveness and the lack of a real story, though, even though I still find it kind of good, it's still not really a story. It just feels like a big ass epilogue for Starkiller. I still freaking loved it for what it was. The final battle, the Gorog fight, the cutscenes were improved. I feel like they're better than especially the PS2 version, Xbox 360, especially the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions. Oh my fucking god, those were awful compared to the to the PS2 and Wii version, and that is saying a lot. Okay, and the cutscene, the looks are improved and everything. It definitely feels like an exact improved version of Force Unleashed 1 on those same consoles, but it does really improve everything. Now there is a part in the Wii version where you actually are exploring the cave on Dagobah. Where Yoda lives. Which, yes, Yoda makes a cameo in this game, and I freaking love it because exactly in his character. But again, uh, like where you actually explore the cave on Dagobah on the Wii version, and I freaking love that level. I definitely think it improves on the psychological parts of Starkiller in the game, and goes and again, it puts a lot more emphasis on the Starkiller character a bit more when you play through that. It's a damn good game for the hell of it. Force Unleashed 2, I'm talking about on both versions. I'm talking about Xbox 360, PS3, and the Wii version. Even though that extended part for like the Dagobah level, I do feel like it deserves the same exact score because it's basically the same game. I give Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2 an 8 out of 10. It's a damn good game for what it is, and even though some people may don't really like the second game because of how short it is, how repetitive it is, the story really isn't all that original, I can see critics bashing this game for that and making it not even better than Force Unleashed 1 on those same consoles. But Force Unleashed, but I do think if I were to compare it to the game that came out on the same consoles, PS3 and Xbox 360, Force Unleashed 2 is definitely better. It improves on the cutscenes, it improves on the gameplay, and gives you that feel from the original versions a bit when you're looking for the holocrons. Because it doesn't really feel the same in those versions. It just doesn't. Okay, and I did and again, it's like a big ass epilogue for Starkiller, and if it is, then it's one hell of an epilogue at that. But again, I love Force Unleashed 2. I do feel like they improved on it, and there is a dark side ending. Again, it's basically like if you choose a dark side ending like any other game. I'm gonna spoil it, but it's just it's just straight up messed up from start to finish. Oh my god! But and I do love how in the cutscenes, the way you look mostly, despite the actual cutscenes from the actual game. I'm talking about from the I'm talking about like the cutscenes in the actual gameplay. I love how your lightsaber, the light of your lightsaber colors, and the actual costume you're wearing actually affects throughout that gameplay cutscene. I don't know why, especially in the actual in-game cutscenes. It just it just makes it look, I don't know, D. It just feels it makes it feel unique. I mean, it makes Starkiller look different. Like I just always love that in games like this. But anyway, um, again, Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, 8 out of 10. I still love the original version of the Force Unleashed 1 on PS2 and the Wii because they were definitely the better versions. I would give that one like a 9 out of 10. Star Wars Force Unleashed 2 on all versions is 8 out of 10. I still feel like it's a kick-ass game, everything. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like the video if y'all enjoyed it, subscribe if y'all want to see more. Comment below what y'all think. And if y'all are new to the channel, y'all want to see more, be sure to subscribe for more. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see y'all next time. Survivor, out.